If you could delete any invention from history, what would it be? Landmines. Danged things from World War I can still go off. Chemical weapons. Children's toys that literally only produce loud noises and do nothing else. Slime and glitter. Dolls that poop. Can't believe I'm the first to suggest pop-up ads. And the invisible X's. I want those to die in hell. Honestly. People who design deliberately irritating ads need to have a good long look in the mirror. They need to ask themselves, when I'm on my deathbed, wheezing and pissing my last, am I going to be happy to look back on my life knowing full well my only contribution to the vast amount of people I impacted was to make their day marginally worse for having encountered my work? Seriously. Don't delude yourself into thinking you're helping customers find things they might want to buy. No. If you're doing shit like hiding close buttons, covering up the content people actually came for, doing completely misleading SEO, making those shitty cookie banners where it deliberately lags for 10 seconds. If you choose decline, duck IO and the very concept of you. Nobody likes ads. Most people just about tolerate ads. You need to learn the ducking difference. Robocalls. But how would I know my car warranty is expiring? Fucking computer viruses. There is no good goddamned reason for them. Fuck them. Fuck them out of existence. Probably said. But cigarettes. Cigarettes are going to be the death of most of my family. 2 have died already from complications caused by smoking. Not to mention you're just paying for a slow suicide. What the hell does anyone get out of that? You spent an absolute shitload of money on M. It's just plain ridiculous. I've quit via e-cig, like 5 years ago now. I guess I should have made a note or something. Reduced the nicotine in the juice until 0. Over about a year maybe. Vape 0 nicotine for maybe another year. Just because it was a habit. I can taste again. I don't stink of tobacco. I can go on walks without constant wheezing. I haven't had a sinus issue in years now. There's a guy at my work that just lives to smoke. I smell his car from a distance in the parking lot. I get nauseous if I have to stand near him for any length of time. He's a constant reminder of what it was like. I quit a 20+ year Newport habit. I'm not particularly strong-willed. If I can quit, anyone can. The odor nausea is real. I only smoked for 3 years and quit 15 years ago. I still get queasy around cigarette smell. It must be hell for you dealing with it after a 20+ year addiction. Well done though. I'm glad your quality of life has improved. Those little plastic pieces they put through socks to keep them together drives me nuts that I have to slightly damage my brand new socks just to access them. Man, you know you can cut that plastic thing with scissors and just slide it out without damaging the socks. Facebook. Something else would take its place. People saw what MySpace was doing. It was only a matter of time before someone else did it better. You haven't killed the demon, merely changed its name. Facebook is different from MySpace and others before it. Zuckerberg normalized de-anonymizing the internet and handing over your private data for sale. It's a terrible thing. Now that every other company wants it. Game over. It'll never be replaced with anything like before. And while it was inevitable the internet would go the way of commercializing, I never expected it to be this way. Fuck Facebook and their pathetic shitbag leader for dicking up the greatest tool humanity ever had. Single use, consumer, plastic crap, and plastic packaging crap, especially on kids' toys. Swear there's more plastic packaging than actual toy. Just go straight to landfill. Pointless plastic packaging. Oh my god, or even baby clothes. I was opening a pack of infant socks the other day and the amount of plastic ties was infuriating. A 6-pack of socks doesn't need 12 plastic ties to secure them to the cardboard. Just stick them all in a bag and call it a day. YouTube non-skippable double ads. YouTube ads in general. Especially the ones in the middle of the damn video. Especially those in the middle of some music videos I sometimes listen in the background. Forks. Just to watch the chaos. Good idea, but I feel the chaos would be much bigger without spoons. Or big spoons ladles. Sorts, chopsticks. You know, I just first of the word ladle a week ago. It would be so sad for it to vanish now. Data collections of individuals. I wish nobody would have realized that they are valuable. Now we are tricked to spend more and more time in front of displays so that they can collect more and more data about us. I know that we have willpower, but social media is elaborately made to trick us. Facial recognition. That's just too Orwellian. It is much easier to track an individual using their cell phone, and people still carry that everywhere they go. I understand the concern with being tracked, but I feel there is an illogical big focus on facial recognition compared to the widespread use of smartphone tracking. You're right, but I think it's understandable that people would react with more fear about facial recognition because it's more personal data and something you can't hide from. We're long past being able to remove our phones from our lives, but the option technically exists, unlike your face. Planned obsolescence. Meth and crack. Amphetamines and methamphetamines are used to treat attention disorders. While I'm personally under the impression we should not throw speed at young children who struggle to sit still in a CL but for 8 hours at a time, truly this sounds like a mental disorder/S. There are many adults who are served well by doing literal meth. Cocaine can and is used as an anesthetic. Derivatives of the coca leaves are often chewed for energy, much in the same way we drink coffee. Crack is merely a form of cocaine. Functionally the same drug as powder cocaine, just in a different form, more easily transported. While I won't deny these and every other drug in existence have ruined lives, pharmacological determinism is a terrible thing. People do not get addicted to drugs because drugs are addictive. People get addicted to drugs because people are addictive. If not these drugs, then something else. This is made obvious by the success of the war on drugs in curtailing the cocaine business. Cocaine is now more pure, more expensive, and harder to get because of the war on drugs, making it harder and harder to get into the US. The CIA also stopped shipping it into major US cities, so that helps as well. Of course, cocaine was just replaced by the methamphetamine and opiates. If not those drugs, then some other cheap drug or something equally addicting, such as gambling. Addiction is a terrible disease, but a disease nevertheless. New, powerful treatments for addiction such as ibogaine, ketamine, and psilocybin are finally being investigated for their anti-addictive properties, and many countries/provinces are foregoing the war on drugs and focusing much of that wasted money on treatment clinics. Meth and crack are two symptoms of a much larger societal issue that, after the 50-year failed experiment of the botched war on drugs, has not changed. Finally, we may finally begin to see science take precedent over feelings of hatred towards criminal junkies, and soon we may live in a world where addiction is seen as it rightfully is, not a feature of the weak-willed and morally inept, but a terrible yet treatable disease of the human mind. This is exactly it. Before I started ADHD treatment this year, I likely would have gotten addicted to anything to avoid the problems resulting from ADHD. I had brief stints with gambling, alcohol, and ecstasy, and could have become a full-blown addict with any of them if I was any more foolhardy than I was. Now those problems basically don't exist, and I don't have to even worry about them, since I have the means to actually follow through on the things I do now. I still drink occasionally, but it's less of an escape and completely for fun. Social media. I so do wish this stuff didn't exist. I mean, it's good and all, but seriously, if we could go back to a world where I never experienced it, I would do that in a day. K-cups. I think I read an article somewhere that the inventor of K-cups regrets ever bringing that idea to fruition. He says over the drone of his yacht. Porn. I love to watch the world burn. The Pontiac Aztec was a test driver at GM when this monstrosity was being developed. It actually had some interesting features, but nobody could get past the looks. In a cab quality assessment test my team and I did, we found the build and dynamics were fine for a minivan, but we told the designers/engineers no one would buy this ugly thing. They hated getting those reports from us, but we were totally vindicated. I believe most of the sales of these were fleet vehicles. I know I'm going to get downvoted to infinity, but listen. Why is it ugly? Twitter. Heroin, meth, other death trap drugs. Morphine helps with basically every surgery, so let's keep that. Those sealed plastic packages, where you need scissors, or, because I don't have scissors in my car and I cannot carry a knife with me, 3 ducking PhDs and 45 spare minutes, to wrestle the package open. Whoever invented it knew they were just adding pain to the world and they just went ahead and did it. Smartphones. I'm on this thing constantly, and am not doing anything productive besides looking at memes and browsing Reddit. A lot of people are saying the internet, but it's more the unlimited easy access that's the problem. Before broadband or smartphones, the internet was a bit of a pain. You certainly couldn't sit on it while in a restaurant or in the cinema, for example. I'm in the vocation of early childhood development and we are noticing a worrying trend in language and communication delay emerging in some places. Because people speak less face to face essentially, plus the smartphone is becoming a physical barrier between relationships. The Kardashians. What is their purpose? To annoy you. Specifically. Most data rape drugs would do good to not exist. The common 4 are GHB, benzodiazepines, mainly flunitrazepam or hypnol/roofers, ketamine, and good old alcohol. GHB is the only one that could probably be safely gotten rid of out of these 4, since its medical use is super limited. In Canada its use is strictly for narcolepsy after normal options are tried. It could be used for anti-anxiety or sedation purposes, but is really easy to overdose. Benzodiazepines are the best way to currently treat anxiety attacks. They also are commonly used for insomnia, and as an anti-seizure medication for those who can't take lamotrigine. The only reason they are effective as a date rape drug is due to their interactions with alcohol. Ketamine is one of the safest options as a sedative due to its dissociative properties, compared to opiates which slow respiration and blood pressure. It also has some solid research indicating it may be effective as an antidepressant. Alcohol not existing would likely have been mostly beneficial for society as a whole, but there is no denying that it is effective for stress relief. Even if there are much healthier and safer options, we as a society would have likely turned to opium to fill the same role, which would be even more disastrous. Marijuana maybe as well, which is definitely safer. The problem with wishing for drugs not to exist is simply due to the role they serve in society. Many people in hard situations can only cope due to having access to something that provides immediate relief in some form. Deleting drugs would be like trying to dissolve chemistry itself, because there are so many different medications with abuse potential that have legitimate medical use. Ads. Most useless invention. I know what I need. I can do research myself and find better products. Without ads, half of what you use every day you won't be able to do that for free anymore. Dictatorial governments. It's not an invention. It's human nature. War. I think it's an horrendous way to sort out problems. Even though I wouldn't call war an invention. I agree. Leads to lot of unnecessary bloodshed. Yeah, not an invention, but an inevitable result of human behavior. Homework. It was originally created as a punishment, and teachers nowadays are using it as their primary reaching tool, instead of taking the time to plan out a fully fleshed out CL but and having schoolwork to do mid-class. It's terrible. But it wasn't created as a punishment. That's a myth, according to Wikipedia. The top sheet. You're a monster. Neoliberalism ruined pretty much all the benefits of globalization and has exacerbated the problems with capitalism. Neoconservatism too. Yup. Give me classic conservatism and classical liberalism any day of the week over the dumpster fires we have now. Dragon Ball evolution. Nuclear bombs. I actually disagree. It's my opinion that the reason we have had no world wars in 80 years is because of nuclear deterrence. Who knows? If not for nukes we could have had World War III in the 70s. Who knows? If we do have a war it will probably blow everything to smithereens. Shiny toilet paper. Wait, what? What kind of fairy tale world has shiny toilet paper? Rich people's golden leaf delights. Concentration camps. Religion. It would be cool how much would change if it wasn't a thing. Probably less religious wars, but I dunno. We wage war over plenty of things. I doubt it would have all that much impact on war broadly. Wet markets. What? Why? The average wet market is akin to a farmer's market, but with more choices and necessary for fresh foods. Wet markets in China is what led to the pandemic. I think that's why they said it. Funko Pops. Off the top of my head, I would say bras. Our current tax code. Pornography. Social media. It's literally destroying society. Is the biggest reason for cancel culture. And the biggest reason everyone is a triggered little bitch. Everything. Happy cave thumping. You ducking chimps. Humans. The forbidden tree. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Warning labels and we will see who weeds themselves out. Probably important scientists who work with chemicals first. Cars. Our towns and cities would be designed completely differently if we were reliant on rail travel. Biking and walking to get around. No more suburbs. That's great in cities, but would massively disadvantage rural areas. Plastic. I'd say commercially available plastic is a no-no, but it is a staple in the medical industry. It helps keep healthcare affordable and sterile, which is a good thing. This is one thing I really struggle with the movement to ban plastics. It's interesting to see someone else mention this, because I think about it all the time when I hear, or read about, or see these debates. I'm a healthcare patient, and rely heavily on disposable, one-time use plastics for my care. Comes to mind right away. Fourth tubing, or wrapping on sterile wound dressing supplies. These are just quick examples. The eras without plastic didn't have plastic pollution, but must certainly have had less sterile and sanitary medical care, and they paid for that with deaths, serious illness and disability. I can imagine. Maybe there are better options available. There absolutely could be, but this is a major hurdle and vital need I see where it will be a challenge to overcome. Guns. Imagine a world where people and nations fought with only melee weaponry, no projectiles or missile weaponry at all. Would the courageous and honorable prevail? Would we truly send our toughest and strongest? Perhaps we'll never know. You would still have crossbows, right? Petroleum. Proprietary software. The wheel. I would delete rubber. Not for any particular reason. I just want to see what would happen. That goddamn Baby Shark song. I have warned my friends that if they sing it at my house they will be asked to leave. Lobbying. Thumbs. Without thumbs humans wouldn't be here and we could still be monk. The cotton gin. Eli Whitney had hoped that his invention would help decrease the need for slave labor. In reality, the cotton gin revolutionized the South's economy and placed an even greater demand on its need for slave labor. The cotton gin paradoxically preserved and prolonged slavery in the South for over half a century and was a key factor in the onset of the Civil War. Probably not the best answer, but one that immediately came to my mind. Modern mobile game ads. Whoever thought of the people acting really ducking stupid, giving invisible X's, and being overall adolescent mobile gamers? I hate it. Credit. That little shtick caused the Great Depression and we would be way more advanced without it. TikTok. Not because I hate it, it's because I'm getting bullied for not having it and enjoying to read. I'd half-heartedly argue nuclear weapons, but it has ushered in an era of peace due to mutual destruction. Although it gets a bit stressful when the political climate gets tense. The internet. Dominion voting machines. IDK if it's an invention, but it put a condom on Cardi B's father. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.